Good morning, it's Friday,
Morning.
November 23rd, traditionally known as Black Friday. Can anybody think of? I was trying to think, is there any way we can use something, a Torah point of view, why it should be called Black Friday?
I have an idea.
Yeah?
Talking about it last night.
Yeah?
You spent Thursday,
Right.
right? And you're supposed to be thankful for everything you have, even though we as Jews do it every day.
Right.
But then you go to the stores on Black Friday and you're fighting for what you don't have. I don't know how you can put that in with the Torah,
Oh,
but
wow.
it's an interesting.
In other words, here you just got through saying thank you.
Thank you.
We're
We're
thankful
so happy.
for everything that we have been graced with.
Uh-huh.
And now, okay. Just to let you know, the two red coffees are hazelnut flavored. The green one is blueberry flavored. I do have the green one is blueberry flavored. Once again, we welcome Leah Devora, Ari, and Tuvia.
Liz is cooking at 21 Hamburg.
Excuse me?
Liz is home cooking at 21
Okay.
Hamburg.
Well, we miss her. It's never the same without her. And it would actually, the more people that come makes it more interesting for everybody because everybody has something to
But
say.
She wants to be here.
And she has quite a bit of interesting things to say usually.
She pulls
And she
things
has
out that
insight.
surprise
Right.
me.
Absolutely.
Okay. Coming to learn here in the morning is really, if you really think about it, the Gemara says in Brachas that after a person dies and goes up to Shemayim, they're going to ask him a series of questions. I always had this question in mind, the order of the questions that it asked. A little distracting.
I'm done.
What's the first question they ask you? Anybody know?
What's your name?
Okay. The Gemara doesn't say that, but I assume they ask you your name. And that's why at the end of Shemon Esrei, good morning.
Morning.
That's why at the end of Shemon Esrei, we say verses which will remind us of our name. So there is a verse. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I'll tell you later. Good morning. But the questions they ask you, the first one is Nasata v'Nasata be'amuna. Did you conduct your business in be'amuna, in good faith, faithfully? The next question they ask you is, did you set aside time for learning? Kavata itim laTorah. I always had this question in my mind. Shouldn't that be the first one? Isn't Torah more important? We'll wait while Ari cleans up. Ari, in solidarity with his son, once in a while, does a little spit up.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little spillage.
I have a drinking problem.
It's always had, Anyway, so wouldn't you think that would be the first question? Did you set aside time for learning? And then ask you, did you conduct your business faithfully? Anybody want to venture an answer? Okay, once again, the spiller.
Learning is more for your benefit.
Yeah.
You're dealing with business, you're affecting other people.
Good answer.
And that should come before what you do for yourself?
Well, I think what you do for other people should come before what you do for
Okay.
yourself.
I like that.
Good answer.
All right, LD?
It's
Just speak up because
proven
people...
out that learning is between you and Hashem, and how you conduct yourself in business is between you and other people, and it's proven out by Parshas Noah that it's more that Hashem destroyed the earth during the flood because of how people acted towards each other, as opposed to Migdal
All right, so
Bavel,
you are reinforcing Ari's answer. That's the reason, because
you
it
back
contains
it
the
up,
other.
I like it.
Yeah, okay.
got you
Anybody
back.
have another reason why that would
Maybe
be?
if you conduct the business honestly, that means you learned that because of that you're conducting your business honestly, and that means already covers the other part too.
Okay, so these are all good answers. And my answer is something like what that gentleman said, that most of us, it says, Kavata itim l'Torah. Good morning. It says, did you set aside time for learning? Because we know that 99% of the people spend their whole day in business, and if anything, they have a little time for learning. And that's accepted. But they do want you to set aside that little time for learning. So you're going to be 99% of the time in your life, you're going to be busy with doing business. And your business should be conducted by emunah and faith. And you should know that regardless of your endeavors, and you do have to do your ishtadlus, Ari, just a little bit back. Okay, if you do, you do have to do it faithfully. I mean, you have to put in your efforts, but it's going to be, you have to have faith that everything comes through God, and you can have a store and be open 1 hour and do more business than a store that's open 10 hours, because it's not dependent. Really, you don't really control your own destiny in anything, and certainly not in your parnasa. So basically, the first question they're going to tell you is, are you going to realize that everything you do in life is up to Hashem? All your business, all your mundane things. We have to. Our goal in this world, of course, is to learn Torah, but we have to know that everything that we do, from the minute that we get up until we go to sleep, is divinely, if I can use the word, manipulated, and Hashem will control everything. Okay, so a couple of interesting things on the parsha. It says that Yaakov worked for his wife Rachel for 7 years, and then the word that the Torah uses, and I have a question on this, and I'm curious to hear the answers. This week, Parshas Vayetze. He worked for 7 years, and I know it was here last year. If I can't find it quickly,
Changes every year.
It changes?
And we don't know that it changes, but it's organic.
Mm-hmm.
We just think it's going to the same.
It says, V'yavad Yaakov Baruch Sheva Shonim. First, he worked for 7 years. Good morning. And it says, Vayhi be'enov b'yomim achodim. Let me read it. So Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him a few days because of his love for her. That it took he worked for 7 years, but it only seemed like a few days because of his love for her. Now, my question is that in real life, it's the opposite. When you really want something, and let's say if I told you that in 3 months from now, you're going to be taking this amazing vacation, and you can't wait every day. It seems forever till it finally comes. But God forbid if something something bad is going to happen in 3 months. God forbid you're scheduled for surgery or something else. Somehow or another, the days fly by. Does anybody agree with
I
that?
absolutely agree with that.
Yep.
Okay. For a bad thing, it's like it comes too quickly,
For a good
and
thing,
for a good
it
thing,
comes
it
in
seems
love.
like it's never arriving. And here the Torah says the opposite. So can anybody figure out why that is so? By the way, I don't have an answer. The only thing that I will comment is that the Torah is careful the way it says it. It says that Yaakov worked for Rachel for 7 years, and then it says it was to him like only a few days because of love for her. That means, and this is the way it is in real life. When you're waiting for something good, it takes a very, very long time. But when you finally get it, afterwards, after the fact, then the time seems like it doesn't mean anything.
It's funny you mentioned like after the
What?
after the birth of our son.
Right.
Anything prior to that
Didn't matter.
didn't matter. Totally inconsequential.
It's like when you begin a fast in Yom Kippur, and you have 25 hours, and then another hour goes by, 24 more hours. Like the day just drags on and on and on. But when you fast is over and you have that first cup of coffee,
Didn't matter.
it didn't happen. The wait didn't mean anything to you. You forgot about the wait. The wait seemed like nothing. So that's. I think that's what maybe is the thing is over here. And it's the opposite. Let's say you think something good is going to happen, and so you're waiting. It takes forever, and then it doesn't happen. Then you really say, and I waited all this time. Like it just confounded the whole business of waiting. Okay. There's something else which I asked Rabbi Ever. It's where it talks about Rachel and Leah. The Torah says that, and I'll read it to you in English again. Lavan had 2 daughters. The name of the older one was Leah, and the younger one was Rachel. Leah's eyes were tender, and actually it means she wasn't that attractive. And Rachel was beautiful of form and beautiful of appearance. Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, I will work for her. Is the Torah giving us a lesson over here that you should go for beauty, looks? Is looks that important when you choose a mate? That's what the Torah basically tells us over here. And isn't it, some of us say Friday night, Sheker Achen, Shlomo HaMelech, the wisest of all men, says Sheker Achen ve'hevel hayofi.
Maybe it's just
Beauty and glory and all that is all mundane. It means it's meaningless.
That's why maybe you got the swap.
Huh?
Maybe that's why you got the swap.
Excuse me?
She told me to get out of her head. I said maybe that's why he didn't get after the first 7
So that's what you were going to say. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
So that's why he got punished.
That's why he got punished, because he went for beauty.
Yeah. What do you think,
Wait,
Bob?
maybe it's
Did
not
you hear
a
the question?
punishment.
Yeah, I heard the question.
Yeah.
I think it's telling you that superficial things are important to humans, but you need to go beyond that.
Okay, so that's pretty much my answer. If I would give an answer, I'd say certainly, looks alone should not be the thing. But if you have 2 apples in front of you, one is banged up a little bit, and which one should you make the bracha over? You have to take the one that's looks more wholesome. That's the idea that when we wash on bread and we make lechem mishnah, we use the whole thing because there's something about outwardly appearance also. And if you look at what Shlomo HaMelech says, actually, if you look at the pasuk completely, it says Sheker Achen ve'hevel hayofi. Beauty is vain and everything. Isha yiras Hashem hi tesalel. A woman who fears God, you should praise. Once she's a God-fearing woman, then all that beauty has a lot of merit.
Okay, well, we constantly fight the animalistic as the neshama, the soul against the animal. Maybe the thing that draws us to is the animalistic side because we're not interested in the neshama until we get to know.
Right.
And then
So you got to get your foot in the door.
Well, what attracts human beings to
Yeah,
other
yeah,
things?
right.
Aesthetic value. I mean, you're not going to live in a shack. You want to build something that's comfortable.
Right.
So maybe you do it the same way.
Okay.
I mean, nobody wants to marry an ugly person on the outside.
Okay.
But when you get to know them, Tad, as your friend from 47 years ago and your roommate, then maybe you make a decision.
Okay, yes.
50
No,
years.
I was going to agree with
So then
him.
turn.
When you get to know somebody.
The other thing I just commented, because we're really short of time, and any minute now they're going to stop me, is Rashi asks a very good kasha. It says that when Jacob had a dream and the angels of God were going up and down the ladder. So the obvious question is, what do you mean they were going up and down? Angels are in heaven. It should have said they were coming down and up. Why does it say they were going up and down? So Rashi gives the answer that there are two types of malachim. One is in Israel and one is in Chutz La'aretz, and they were coming from outside Israel, so they were here and they were going up. So a whole geographical answer. But I have two answers on this. First of all, it says Malache Elokim. I mean, the reason I don't like Rashi's answers, and with all due respect, and of course I have no way there's no way I can possibly even think of arguing, but we're allowed to ask questions even on the Torah, so I'm asking a question on Rashi. It says Malache Elokim, it says the angels of God were going up and down. So it's not talking about the angels that were in Chutz La'aretz. Chutz La'aretz means outside Israel, that were going up and down. It says specifically Malache Elokim, God's angels. Where are God's angels? God's angels are with God. So I'll get to that in a minute. Lynn said something, but I'll get to it in a minute. So, but when it talks about Malach Elokim, that's the angels that are with God on the Kisai Kovid in above. So it really should have said they were coming down and going back up. So the answer that I would like to suggest goes back to where he was sleeping. Where was he sleeping? Where was the place that he was sleeping?
It's on the temple now.
It was on the temple. It's exactly where the Kadshe Kodashim, where the Holy of Holies was. And in fact, what God did was he took the whole Israel and he folded it in underneath this rock. And that's where he put down his head. And that's why when he got up, he says, I didn't realize I was sleeping in such a holy place. So if in fact he was sleeping in such a holy place, and this was the Kadshe Kodashim, morning, Shalom Aleichem. And so this is where the Shekhinah was, with divine presence. It's actually right there. So the angels of God were right there with him. So they were really, as Lynn says, with him on the ground. And that's why they were first going up and coming down. Okay. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.